So let's get into the holiday spirit and talk about Krampus. That's going to be the first way we kick this off in our holiday season of watching, which is what we want to try to do this December. Who knows if we will, because we are inconsistent in what we do. But Krampus is what we talked about. Let me give you a quick rundown if you haven't seen it. Krampus is about young Max who turns his back on Christmas, and his lack of festive spirit unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. So, I've watched Krampus every Christmas since it's come out.
Well, when did it come out?
2015, which was shocking to me. I really thought it was more recent than that. But as you said, time is an enigma.
Yes.
And it's been lost in the last couple of years. But I could have swore, I really thought for a second that Toni Collette did Krampus and Hereditary in the same year, which would have been amazing. But she did not.
She did not.
She did not. So,
well, Krampus was before Hereditary, right?
Yes.
When was
Hereditary, I looked it up yesterday because this was a genuine thought that I had, was like 2018, I want to say.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it was 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
So Krampus is kind of where she cut her teeth on horror scream face a little bit before Hereditary. Gotcha.
Yes, Hereditary is 2018. So
okay.
Yeah, she did Krampus first, but she's obviously Toni Collette's been around forever.
Okay.
So this wasn't her first role in by any means, but yes, she cut her teeth in the horror realm, as far as I'm aware, with Krampus, which was directed by Michael Dougherty.
Michael Dougherty, who is best known for Trick or Treat, which we have had an episode on, the cult Halloween horror classic, campy at its best. Horror movie that is one of those movies you can just rewatch every Halloween.
And I do, just like I watched this one. Michael Dougherty's got both of my holidays. If he did a Thanksgiving movie instead of Eli Roth, Michael Dougherty would like own my holidays.
Maybe that's next on his list.
I hope so.
Maybe he just wants to be the holiday movie horror director. Just make an Easter bunny murderer movie or something.
Fuck yeah. I am here for that.
Yeah.
The only scary Easter bunny we have is Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh my God, you're right.
You remember that Easter bunny?
I do. We don't speak of that.
Right.
Yeah, man, Krampus. You've seen it every year since 2015.
Yes.
I'm a first-time watcher.
Yes, you are.
Never seen Krampus before. And I don't know really why that is. I think part of it is just like it's one of those movies that just seems like it got lost in the shuffle and was never promoted really by the studio, never really talked about as like a follow-up to Trick or Treat. And Trick or Treat has a niche audience too. Like that's not a widely spread known movie either, is it?
Not really. It seems very cult still in its way.
Correct.
I mean, there's still a lot of people who I know haven't seen it. It's been a little bit, the fact that it's on like HBO helps. The fact that streaming does help some of those things, but it's still not a movie that everyone has seen, which is still surprising to me.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't even realize it was the same director until a certain point. Like I don't know. I've seen the Krampus poster or promotional imagery before, and I was just kind of like, what is this weird, just like C movie Halloween whatever, never really knowing that it was like a thing. So once you told me you watched it a few times, then I did connect the dots that it was the same director as Trick or Treat. That's when I finally was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And we're doing our holiday episodes, like a Christmas movie I've never seen.
It's on Peacock.
Exactly, with a horror twist. So let me watch this. Yeah, man, watched me some Krampus for the first time.
What'd you think?
What did I think?
What'd you think about Krampus, man? There's a lot to think about Krampus.
There is a lot to think about Krampus. I'll be honest. It was okay. Thought it was all right. Some of it didn't work for me. I appreciate what they're going for. They're going for like camp, but then at the same time, I feel like sometimes it took itself seriously at times when it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And like the movie felt, the tone of it felt sometimes different, like too different. Like you're taking yourself really seriously at the beginning, and this is like a serious family drama, and then in the last back half of the movie, we're messing around with CGI gingerbread men jumping around.
Yeah.
But like we're having serious family problems in the first half of the movie where there's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was entertained. It's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
It's not like, it doesn't take itself super seriously, and there were parts where I genuinely did laugh. Um and I did enjoy myself. There were some parts that, got a little weird for me, but all in all, I think I had fun at the end of the day. If I'm comparing it to if I'm using the director as a comparison, I do prefer Trick or Treat.
Hmm.
But it's fun enough. I think it's worth watching. It's like a fun Christmas scary, something different to watch during
Yeah.
the holiday.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, Krampus is a thing. Now you've watched it many times.
This is a thing. It is a thing.
Krampus is a thing.
Yeah.
You have watched it many times.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? I mean, there's got to be
I
a reason why you've watched it
well,
many times.
it's fun. I mean, that's really just what it is. It's fun horror comedy, as you said. Yes, it doesn't fire on all cylinders all the time. Yes, there's a lot of just nonsense and screaming towards the back half where it's just yelling constantly. I was watching it last night and just remembering, I was like, oh my God, they're just yelling as they run around. It's a very noisy movie. It's not perfect, but it's fun. It's filled with comedic actors: Adam Scott, Tony Collette, David Koechner, Allison Tolman. I love, like, the cast was just well put together. The biggest thing, and we can dive into it a little bit more when we start talking about actual parts, and I know you talked about CGI gingerbread men, but outside of them, I love that everything was practical. It was people in suits, or it was puppets, or it was toys. Like, they seem to take, and I mean, maybe some of it's CG, and that's, good for them that they fooled me, but they fooled me, Jerry. but um, but I
Put the
just like,
emphasis on me.
yeah, they fooled me, Jerry. Um, so it's just one of those things where it's just fun. Like, I enjoy the cast, their chemistry together, the seriousness that they don't, it doesn't turn into satire. It doesn't turn into like, haha, look at us, we're being funny. Or it's like, it's funny, but then at the same time, it's kind of like, it's genuinely kind of creepy. So it's just, overall, it's just fun, and it's just an easy 90 minutes watch for Christmas. And like you said, when you're looking at normal Christmas movies, you're just sitting there like, oh, here's, I don't know, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Here's A Christmas Story. Here's, I don't know what else
Home
you watch.
Alone.
Home Alone. Here's, Jingle All the Way. They very fall. This is different. I know there are horror, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I know there are a lot of horror Christmas movies, but this one just is easier to watch than some of them. It's not a slasher. It's creatures, kind of like I said, puppets. It's just more fun than just being a straight up horror movie, but it still has those elements. And the cast is outstanding.
Oh yeah, the cast is probably the standout of it. Um, I didn't even know who was in this until I started it, and like Adam Scott was on the title screen. I was like, all right, this is cool. I like Adam Scott. And
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, what, Tony Collette's the wife? Like, she's a big deal. She's like an A-lister, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you said, what's the brother's name? He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
Anchorman.
David Koechner.
I mean, when he walked in the front door, I was like, oh God, this guy.
Fuck yeah.
But he's funny, dude. Like, no matter, like, people, like, you laugh at him and you make fun of it. Like, he's just like one of those guys.
He's
But
a
he's
character
funny.
actor of just, he's in
funny.
every comedy.
Yeah, he's funny. And then his wife, the sister, she's been in a few things. I think she was on like the season of Fargo.
Say it. Yeah. First season
Yeah.
of Fargo, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah, and she's been in a few other things like that. But yeah, good cast. The oldest daughter, I remember her she was in Sweet Tooth. I couldn't like, I kept
She
looking at her like,
was.
who is that? And she was like,
Thank you.
she was the girl from the Resistance in
Yep.
the Sweet Tooth.
Yep.
It was bothering me until my wife was actually the one who was like, yeah, we know her from Sweet Tooth. I was like, yes. But yeah, great cast.
You can't tell me that that little boy who's playing Max didn't like tug at your heartstrings in the beginning when he was like, everyone was like giving him like, give a hard time for believing in Santa. and like he's writing letters like wishing Santa would like bring his family together, and you're just like, oh my god, he's so
Well,
good.
that's my point, is like, for a movie that wants to be camp, like that scene was hard to watch.
I
It was
know,
like,
right?
as they're like giving him shit for believing in Santa Claus and reading his note to Santa out loud, and
While the dads just kind of sit there and watch it happen.
yeah, no one was stopping it, and he like kept standing up to try to take it back from his asshole cousins, and the sister was like, no, stop. It's like, why stop? Get that shit, that's his. You're
Mm-hmm.
embarrassing him in front of the family.
Right.
uh but no, yeah, I got no issue with the cast. It's probably the strongest part of this movie, is such a good cast, and they all like played their roles perfectly, I think.
100%. And you even had, and you can't forget, what's her face, Conchata Farrell, who played
Oh,
Aunt Dorothy, who's been in like every Adam Sandler movie since the 90s. And
wasn't
Two and
she
a
on
Half
that
Men.
show? Yeah, I was gonna say two. Was it Two and a Half Men, or like the, what was the one with like the two? It was another CBS sitcom with like no, wait, she wasn't in that. Never mind. I was thinking of the two waitresses. What was
Oh,
that show
like Two
called?
Broke Girls.
Yeah, she wasn't in that. Never mind. That was like Jennifer Coolidge or somebody was on that show. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's fine. They
Okay.
it's unfortunately can sometimes blend together. Her
Yeah.
big thing was Two and a Half Men,
Right. Right.
which I wasn't my jam, but she was on that for 211 episodes, which is fucking ridiculous. But she's been in everything, and like I said, pretty much every Adam Sandler movie I think she's been in. I see Mr. Deeds on here. She's just a character actor that you just know, and she did her white trash character to a T.
Well, she played the role of like that one family member that we all have.
Yeah.
That like when you see him at a family party, you love your family, but you're just like, ugh, I got to deal with this person for hours.
Yeah, they're going to talk trash about whatever I tell them. What are you
Right.
doing for a living? Well, I'm doing this. For real, you make money doing that?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, if you went and worked for the post office, you could make this much money.
Does that pay anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We all have that. And she played that to a T. So, like I said, it was character actors across the board of just being awesome. And like I said, you can't really do that in that. And because the cast was so great, like you said, it made everything a little bit more serious. There was no satire in this movie. This whole thing was played straight.
Until the end. Right.
Did it fall apart at the end?
No. I'm just saying it was played straight until like it got, all the monsters started popping out. Then
Oh,
just like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we lost all
Oh, the fucking
grasp on
elves showed
reality.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it got
we lost all
crazy.
grasp on reality. Yeah.
Yeah, when the elves showed up. I mean, when Krampus was just chilling,
Yeah.
gingerbread CGI men, all kinds of craziness. I can tell you right now, my favorite part of this movie is watching David Koechner fight CGI gingerbread men in the kitchen. Like
That's it was
watching those
funny.
gingerbread men do like flips over gunshots, like shotgun shots, and doing flips and coming at him with sharpened candy canes. I'm like, this is amazing.
See, and this is one of my issues with this movie that I do have. It's not a huge issue, but it is a little bit of an issue. I know when you were talking about like you were a fan of the puppetry and like,
Mm-hmm.
the spooky murder puppets and like the jester guy they had and that angel
That
and
jester was fucked up.
yeah, that jester was scary as hell. When I saw that thing pop out the first
Right?
time, I was legitimately frightened.
As Adam
Um,
Scott yells, "Come on!"
yeah, as we all would if we saw that thing
Yeah,
in our
you just
house.
see it and you're like, "Come on, this is too much."
Yeah.
Like you can't
Um.
even. That's funny if it happens to you in real life. After
Uh-huh.
everything that's happening to you, like if crazy shit's happening and you don't know what's going on, and then you see that jester with the little lower jaw mouth, you're just like, "Come on, this is too much."
I would just have a grabber and die right there on the floor. But yeah, I'm a fan of all that. That's my issue, is the gingerbread men then are CGI.
Yeah,
And like you want them to be a cohesive thing. I just kind of think it would have been a smarter choice. I think if you're gonna just go the puppet route, should have just made those gingerbread men puppets too. I don't know what the decision making behind that was. It made them feel too different from everything else that I'm seeing. Like,
I will give you that. I will
okay,
definitely give you that they are jarring compared to everything else. Even the elves that were like clearly dudes in masks coming out at the end was jarring compared to all the puppetry that was happening. The
Right.
puppetry is obviously the favorite part. Even Krampus was like a weird puppet that didn't know how to close its mouth. Um,
Right.
it's definitely is. And if it wasn't David Koechner fighting
Mhm.
those CGI things, I think I probably wouldn't like it as much. But just the fact that it was him and it's not usually a role you see him in.
Right. You
That's
don't see him with a shotgun very often.
you don't it's with a shotgun and with CGI gingerbread men shooting nail guns at him. Like that's just not the world he normally lives in and that we
Right.
see him in. So I think if it wasn't him just like yelling and doing his shtick with that, I don't think it would have worked, but it definitely just worked because it was him. But I can agree with you on that. I'm not going to fight
Okay.
you on that.
No, yeah, that was just a little issue I had, but not a deal breaker or anything.
No, not at all. Nothing about this movie is a deal breaker. Like I said, is it perfect? No. Did I give it 5 stars when I put it on my letterbox last night? No, I didn't. I really like this movie. It is something that I watch. It is an easy 90 minutes of horror, goofiness, holiday spirity. Um, I have a good time with it. I love the practical effects because CGI just is so overplayed. We just talked about it with the Godzillas, like I don't know what they did for Godzilla -1, but that CGI looked practical and it looked cool. And compared to that trailer, which looked all CGI, I like practical. So we grew up in the 80s and 90s with practical effects. I love it. So the fact that whenever someone takes the effort to do that, I love it.
I can agree with that.
Did you think it was a dream at the end? Your first
No,
time watching it, and the kid woke up from his dream and made it. They were playing that it was a dream. Did you fall for it?
I was kind of thinking it was when like everyone was dead except him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when his parents both got sucked into the ground and like it was like, oh, they're just killing everybody, huh? Except him. Like that's not like
Yeah.
this is all something. That's when I started to think it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no,
But
I
but
didn't.
the, but then it
But
wasn't a dream.
it was a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Yeah, right. It
They're still
was
they're trapped in like a Groundhog Day or whatever it is
right.
because once they saw that ornament, you can tell every single person in that room, including the dog, remembered what happened.
Yeah, yeah. He's got him in a snow globe.
Yeah.
He's some kind of like yeah. It's trippy. That ending is a little
It
tripped
was a
out.
trippy ending.
Yeah,
I
makes
still
me
don't even I've seen it a bunch of times and I still can't even tell you if I know exactly what happens. So was there any moments that stood out for you in this that were just like funny, scary, like anything stand out for you that were just like, yes, this movie is for me?
um for me, I don't know if that's the exact words, but
Then
like
that's 100% answering a question I'm going to ask you here in a minute. But okay.
no, there were some moments that I like I genuinely laughed at the uncle, like when he was talking about fighting those gingerbread men and like um definitely a big fan of the puppetry, like
Of
the
course.
same as you. Um Krampus jumping around from house to house was cool
Creepy ass
and kind of
snowman.
creepy snowman. And when he was like Krampus was running, we didn't even really talk about Krampus. Like
Talk about
I
Krampus, man.
I was always confused. I always thought that Krampus was like some kind of monster, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's more of just like a sinister evil twin of Santa Claus
Mm-hmm.
with like hooves and horns. But he's got like kind of a human face, and I was like, oh, I kind of thought Krampus was like an animal. I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
that was always what I thought, but he
And
looks
maybe there
cool
are
in this.
stories in which he was.
Yeah, this film definitely you could tell the director Michael Dougherty had more of a budget than Trick or Treat. Like they were actually able to do some different things. Don't get me wrong, Trick or Treat is a fantastic film, but you could tell it's like a very low budge. Like they did what they could with what they had.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh this one like had obviously like the gingerbread CGI and Krampus jumping around from rooftops is CGI and moving around and stuff. So I thought Krampus looked cool. He was kind of like the big bad of this movie that you didn't see till the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. Yeah, man, there were parts that I enjoyed definitely. I don't know, and even just like the family aspects of the movie, it was just like felt like a Christmas movie, even without the horror stuff, it just felt like I don't know why I like Christmassy themes in films. It just makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing people having Christmas together in movies. I don't know why. I like the damn movie with Craig T. Nelson and his family. What was that movie called? With Sarah Jessica Parker and Luke Wilson. Do you know
Oh,
what the
is it
hell?
the Family Stone?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I like that movie. I like.
It's a good
I like
movie,
just.
but
I
it
just like
makes you
holiday.
cry. It's all sad.
It is, but I just like. I like seeing movies of families getting together at Christmas time.
So you like Harold and Kumar's Christmas?
Is that real?
Yeah, that was the third one. It was Harold and Kumar's 3D Christmas.
They made more than one of those.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
You
I don't
never saw
know.
Harold and Kumar at Guantanamo Bay?
Oh my god, those don't even sound like words that are real.
But it is. They did Harold and Kumar at Guantanamo Bay, and they did Harold and Kumar at 3D's Christmas, whatever it's called. You've never, I see you like wiping your face in just shock. Are you
Listen, Chris,
serious right now? You don't know those exist.
I'm gonna need you to quit lying to me.
I'm not lying. Those are real things.
Okay.
And you're looking for Christmas movies. Harold and
All
Kumar
right.
Christmas.
I'll put it on the list. I'll put them on the list.
And what's hilarious watching that is because it was a 3D movie. So like the whole movie is set up in like scenes where you're like, oh, they wanted that smoke to be 3D. It's all pot and 3D. It's stupid.
It's on the list. Maybe we'll talk
You need to
about
watch it. I'll watch Harold and Kumar Christmas again.
Okay.
I don't watch that one. What's crazy is I was just looking it up to see what else Michael Dougherty's directed out of curiosity to see what else he's been doing since Krampus. And it's so funny because he directed Godzilla, King of the Monsters,
No shit.
and he wrote Godzilla versus Kong. So
Really?
that's random as hell. Yeah.
That is pretty random.
Yeah. I was we talked so much about Godzilla.
Yeah,
He
that's
also
interesting.
wrote X-Men Apocalypse, which is
Okay.
the only X-Men movie I never saw.
Trick or Treat's still the best thing he's ever done.
And he's still and in development for directing is Trick or Treat 2.
They've been talking about that for years.
I know.
I'm waiting for that to be a real thing.
I would love for it to be another thing, but I don't imagine it ever being a thing.
Yeah, we'll see about it.
Yes, I was curious of how you felt about Krampus. Back to Krampus.
Well,
let's walk this back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you asked me, like, you watch this movie every year. What about it stands out to you that makes you just want to watch it yearly?
It was a lot of just kind of what I said in the beginning of this conversation, which is just like I said, it's fun. I like the cast. I like the acting. I like the holidayness without being satire. I like it being horror without being horror. I like the practical effects. It's just fun. Is it perfect? No. Is it a great movie? Probably not. But it's just an easy watch. It's just an easy holiday, something to put in the rotation of outside of, like you said, so many are family, so many are comedy, and just to have something that's a little bit horror without being heavy is fun. It's just an easy watch to put on.
Well, let me ask you this too. This is like one little follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you think this movie would benefit from being rated R, or do you like the PG-13 rating?
I think
Like
I
they
like
weren't-
the PG-13.
Okay.
Did you have
'Cause-
you were to follow up before I answered that?
No. I was just gonna say, because some of the scripts sometimes at some points it seemed like they might have benefited from an R to like kind of go there a little bit more with it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Adam Scott getting stabbed in the back by the Robo toy or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
maybe make that a little more like campy, bloody, like, oh god, oh my god, you know what I mean? They couldn't really go there because of the PG-13 rating. Like, we never saw anything like
Yeah.
super gory or is this a movie that seemed like maybe it could have done that?
It could have. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a version of it that exists that it does. I don't need it. I think, like I said, especially to keep with that holiday thing, that's not necessarily what I'm looking for in the holidays. There's this movie, and I'm not going to remember what it's called. It's on AMC. It came out last year. It was called like Santa Kills, Santa Slay. I can't remember what it's called, and I hate myself for not being able to know what it's called.
Okay.
But it was super. I mean, it's a horrible movie. but it's super graphic, super violent, super this, and it's not anything like I watched it last year and I was like, okay. But because of those things, it doesn't make the rotation of like I need to watch this every year, because I don't know, that's just not this time of year. I'm not necessarily in the mood to like saw it up.
I gotcha.
So I enjoyed that they kind of kept it family friendly in the most way. I can tell you I don't like what they did in this, especially at the end of this movie. I don't like when main characters just give up. So when they were running for that snowplow and everyone was just like, go kids, and they just got sucked down in the snow, I'm just like, come on, why are you guys aren't getting in the snowplow with them?
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
Like, I hate that. That was what I hated about The Good Place when we talked about that. I just like people are just like giving up. I'm going to sacrifice myself for the greater good, but it's always seems not needed in that exact moment. Like you're just doing it just to try to make me feel something. And I don't like that. I don't
It's
like
like
people being
you could have
manipulating my feelings.
yeah, you could have found a way.
You could have found a way. You didn't need to sacrifice yourself. You could have just made noise over here. You could have just jumped in the trailer and not stood outside the window until someone grabbed you.
True.
I didn't enjoy all the, willing sacrifices at the end to just get to the end, but whatever. We needed to get to the end and it kind of comes back around. So it works. Like I said, it's a fun movie. It's easy to watch seasonally. It's easy to throw in the rotation of Die Hard and Christmas Story, and you throw Krampus in there. There have been years, I'm sure, where I've missed and I don't miss it, but it's a fun movie, and it's nice to think that Michael Dougherty's in charge of my Halloween and my Christmas.
Most definitely.
And apparently my Godzilla.
He's writing your Godzilla too. What a guy.
Apparently, what a guy.
Yeah. I don't know. For those who haven't seen this, thanks for listening and us telling you everything
100%.
that happens. But
it's on Peacock. Watch it.
It's worth watching. I definitely
100%.
think it's worth watching. Like,
we can't do it justice.
No, you want to watch things in the month of December. If you are a holiday movie guy, or gal, you want to watch some holiday stuff. So throw this in there if you've never seen it. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Not gonna blow you away. Like, didn't win any Oscars or anything, but it's just a fun movie. It's just a fun holiday movie.
But if you like practical effects, it could blow you away.
Sure.
The practical effects were done really well.
I feel that.
The puppets, like you said, that jester thing was fucked up.
Yeah, it was.
That is a creepy ass thing that existed and was crawling around, and I don't want to mess with that thing. Everyone kept yelling, shoot it. No one wanted to shoot it.
Yeah. That's one of those things where you see and you just say, nope.
Nope. Yeah, you nope out of those exact moments.
Yeah.
That's what that jester was, and I see it in my dreams. It haunts my Christmas, and I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Krampus? I think we kind of talked through our feelings for Krampus.
We did. We covered it. I'd never seen it before.
I was glad to get someone to watch it.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and I'm glad you kind of nudged me towards watching it. It was a fine watch. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just a fun thing to watch, and I don't regret watching it. I could see myself watching it again at some point. So, yeah, man, Krampus. There you go.
You'll have to buy it on physical media so you don't miss it.
There you go.
No, I don't have a Blu-ray player, Chris.
I got a PlayStation.
There you go. That's all you need. That's a 4K player. You're good to go.
Damn straight.
Absolutely. So we're on to our holiday. We're going to look for some other Christmas movies or other kind of holiday adjacent things that we can talk about as we push through this month. And we're going to talk about it once we finish recording this and say, what are we watching next week? We will put it out on Twitter, so you don't want to miss that. So you know what to watch. So you're ready for the next episode. Raised a Geek on Twitter, over on all of the social media. I'm not even going to name them all out. Search for Raised A Geek. We pop up. We are everywhere. Look for us at Raised A Geek, or you can shoot us an email if you really want to long form us, raisedageek@gmail.com. We're always looking for those reviews. We're always looking for those ratings. We're always looking for anything that you want to share with us. We want to know, what's your favorite Christmas movie that you need to watch every year? Let us know. Maybe we haven't seen it. Maybe we'll talk about it. I'm always looking for more stuff to watch this time of year. But I think with all of that said, that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raised A Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm done.
And thank you for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.